Hong Kong and helped form with a Korean businessman a joint venture with the People's Republic of China. We're going to manufacture large capacitor banks because the mining industry over there is overtaxed. They don't have enough energy. These capacitor banks would save a lot of energy and help their output and help the environment. So again, I thought, well, this is a really good opportunity. So I explained to this fellow, his name was Alex Houston. I said, I'll be happy to do this only if I am president. He said, fine. I said, and you put up all the money. He said, fine. So I put the company together, the corporation. And I worked with a fellow by the name of William Yoon, who's an arms dealer. He owned a shipping line. He was actually Korean. He couldn't go back to Korea because of that price on his head. But he worked with the Chinese. And since the mining industry deals with metals, anything dealing with metal in a raw product, military controls. So I was working with the Chinese military. The night of the ribbon cutting ceremony in the Shenzhen province for our factory, which was enormous, was going to initially employ somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people. I had already pre-sold enough production that was projected for the next 6 to 8 months. Sold it in the Philippines. I sold it. I had friends in Thailand, high-up friends. I had friends all over Southeast Asia that I had cultivated in Capital International Airways and through other contacts. So the night of the ribbon cutting ceremony, I'm standing there with William Yoon. Alex Houston wasn't there. And I was standing there with all the brass and matter of fact, the mayor of the town and the governor, if you want to call him that, of the Ho Chi Minh province were standing with me, and they were taking pictures. And this fellow approaches with a small briefcase under his arm. And I watched my translator, I watched Mr. Yoon, and they just, like the seas parted. And this small fellow, Chinese man in a suit, approached me, and in perfect English said, "May I have a word with you privately?" And I looked at Mr. Yoon, and he did a nod. We had some hand signals between us. And he was telling me it was extremely important, and don't resist. Jeez. I stepped to the side. This guy opens a briefcase. This little leather thing. He said, I need to speak with you on a most urgent matter. I said, what is it that's so urgent? He said, your business partner. I said, you mean Mr. Houston? No. He said, your business partner in the United States, Mr. Houston, is of great concern to us. And I'm going, I thought he found out about my background. I thought, well, I was cooked goose right there. And he said, we know who you are. He says, as a matter of fact, you recognize any of these records? I recognized the neighbors as I was a child that they had interviewed, the names. You know how when you're a little kid you remember the names of your neighbors? They'd interviewed all my neighbors as a little child. They'd interviewed all my school teachers. They had all those records, all those psychological testing things. They also had some stuff that was highly classified. And the original stamps and where people had signed it off was still on the papers. And I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing one of the greatest breaches of national security I had ever witnessed in my life. And I'm in total shock, but unable to say anything because Yoon had keep my mouth shut. And you must remember, I was trained not to really show any kind of emotion or anything else. Not programmed, just trained. Then I saw something that I could not deal with. He began, I said, well, what is it about Mr. Houston? He said, Mr. Houston is in the drug business. I said, he doesn't even smoke cigarettes. I'm the guy that smokes cigarettes. He said, no, he's in the drug business for the CIA. He said, he's in the drug business. He's in the child and adult pornography business. As a matter of fact, he has a young woman and a small child under his control, my control. The words were never said under his control. They were his charges. He said he uses them as mules. And he said, and this goes all the way to your White House. In other words, it was sanctioned by members of the White House, the president, vice president. I'm absolutely overwhelmed with what he's telling me. And then it dawned on me that all I thought he wanted was my stock. In other words, this was a hostile takeover. And then his words came out of his mouth. He said, it's almost like he was reading my mind. He said, all we want is for you to go back and get rid of Houston, Mr. Houston. Well, naturally, I think of something else. And I said, we don't do that. I can't do that. He said, no. Get him out of this business. I know we don't care how you do it. I said, well, I want to buy him out. And he said, well, we'll provide the money and we'll divide his stock so you won't lose your control. I thought that was the most gracious offer I'd ever heard. I said, those files you have on Alex Houston. He said, yes, let me show you. And he showed me pictures of Alex Houston having sex with a small Haitian boy. I saw other things in there about how this woman in his charge was being used as a mule. The Chinese have outstanding intelligence. They've infiltrated the entire intelligence community within the United States, as far as I know. Because when I got back home, I picked up the phone and called someone I in contact within the U.S. Department of State. Not a friend, not anybody that I knew. It was the person in charge of reporting something of this nature, because this was a major national security issue. I explained what had happened. He asked me if I had spoken with anyone about this in the United States. I said, no. He said, well, say nothing. Don't say anything. We'll get back to you in a couple of days. He did. And you know what his answer was? Mr. Phillips, this is a matter of national security. You'll never speak of it again. It didn't happen. I bought Alex Houston out. And before that buyout, I invited he and his wife, and she came to the house. And I saw her. She was an absolute robot. Everything that I thought I knew, I knew. Everything that I thought I knew about mind control was being used in a hideous sort of way. More hideous than I could imagine. So I decided I contacted Mr. Yoon, and I said, Mr. Yoon, I'm going to get this woman and that child in psychiatric care. And I think I'll just fold up my office here in the States and come to Hong Kong.